Platemark is a podcast about prints and the printmaking ecosystem. In every episode, we'll hear from people who occupy various roles in that ecosystem. I'm your host, Anne Schaefer. I'm an independent curator who specializes in prints and printmaking. I work to promote prints and printmaking through this pod, organizing fine art print fairs and organizing exhibitions. The goal of the pod is to demystify the world of prints and printmaking, which can be technically challenging, and to demonstrate the range of opportunities to work in this charming corner of the art world. This is a show that takes you behind the scenes to expose the generous, collaborative, and creative people working to better the world one print at a time. Today's guest is artist Chuck Webster, who has made prints as a part of his practice, but we're sitting in his studio during the interview, and you should watch the YouTube version of it because he kind of takes us on a studio tour, and you get to see all of the various tools that he's created and the papers that he's collected, and it's a deep dive into the creative mind of an artist. Okay, housekeeping. I identify as a cishet white woman, and I use the pronouns she, her. I record Platemark in Baltimore, Maryland, the land of the Piscataway Conoy people. Images Chuck and I talk about are over in the show notes at platemarkpodcast.com. Over there you can also hit the support and donate button, help me keep the lights on. All right, let's get rolling. Chuck, it's great to see you. Thank you for coming on Platemark today.
You're welcome. You have behind you there, just as a
that
your
is
picture
a print.
behind you.
Yeah, that's a print by a student at MICA back in 2010, 2008 maybe, who is sadly no longer making any work.
Oh, well.
I know.
It happens.
He's so talented. His name is Adam Oestreicher.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Chuck, thanks for coming on the show. I wanted to talk to you because I love talking to artists. I find them fascinating. And I love, of course, talking to artists who love print. So that's why we're here.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So usually I have people tell us a little bit about how you knew you were going to be an artist and what brought you to print and, that kind of thing. Any little background stories you want to tell us?
Oh, well, I've always made drawings ever since I was a little kid. That's actually one of the few books I've had published is a book of my drawings from when I was a kid that was published by Katie Bichelle at Plant House back in 2015. So I always made drawings all the time. And I took classes and did cartooning and always loved to make drawings. I have thousands of them from when I was really young.
Do you have a daily practice where you always need to make a drawing a morning or anything like that?
No, it's usually it's very impulsive. It is daily, but it's very, very sort of, for the last 2 years, there's been a lot of small drawings, medium-sized drawing like this size, and I make a lot of them and keep them in these like amazing piles.
Oh, wow.
I actually can show you stuff.
and
so there's hundreds of these like packets of drawings, which I was inspired by James Castle in the way he stored his drawings. And I top them with these really cool pieces of cloth tape that I get from old packets of J. Green paper that I work on.
They're tied up like love letters or something with a
ribbon.
Or
something. Yeah, I love it. But I want to have a better archiving system, but it's tens of thousands of dollars.
Well, there's that, but there's also the fact that you use lots of different kinds of papers and different kinds of sizes. So it's not like you're a sketchbook person.
I was. For years I was a sketchbook person. That's an interesting question because years ago I would use a Strathmore premium recycled sketch. That was my jam for all through grad school, a little bit after, up until about 2010, 2012. And then I carried smaller sketchbooks, like those little Holbein sketchbooks. So was very much of a sketchbooky person, and I'd do doodles in them and make a lot of pencil drawings and a lot of transcriptions. And so I always wanted to learn how to draw as a way to think and survive in the world, pretty much.
Wait. Say more about that.
I found that like the way that you could have you're in the world and you're sitting on the train, you could make a little drawing of what you see, and that just keeps you going. It's very good for my anxiety. Drawing is amazing.
Oh, wow.
It's an incredibly therapeutic thing.
I usually take a picture with my phone on the train.
Yeah. I was like years ago. I I do more like reading the paper and playing games and listening to audiobooks. But
And
usually,
podcast.
like, and the way to learn, I was very hungry to learn about pictures and learn about form. And the way, like, my main teacher was a man named Stanley Lewis, who he would go, you draw from paintings for 6-7 hours. I mean, one of the best art classes I had in 1994 is that we went to the National Gallery and drew from 7 hours from one painting
What?
from Rembrandt's Lucretia, and you were able to understand a picture much more than before if you draw from it, like, and understand how pictures function. That's my way of learning how to do it, is to draw from observation, because you're able to make small discerning decisions between this very small things depending on what's there, and you can erase and go through it and go further. But then I find drawing to be incredibly fun and incredibly hilarious thing to do.
You don't feel pressure
No, never.
Wow.
Pressure in terms of what? Like, I'm using this $50 sheet of paper?
Right.
No, never.
Making something worthwhile.
No, that's all. No, it's all very, no, I never, it's the less pressure, the more worthwhile. And I'll do these are like hundreds of different weird drawings that I've done. Oh, this is a blank. No, these are blanks. This is a blank. No, this is not all blank. But then, like, there's little weird drawings like this, and there's lately been drawings with words in them, and they're a blast. Like making it's really fun. Making drawings it's so much fun.
Do the drawings get sent to a gallery, your gallery, for sale, or are they used as reference later, or
everything? I'll make. Well, some of my practices, like the last couple through 2002 through up now, I've made a large number of drawings, and then so some of them will get cut up and used in collages and paintings, and then a large number of them will be sold. But it takes me some time to figure out if they're any good, or I know that they're good right away. Like, there's a lot of them that are very sort of sketchy, and there's all kinds of, like, just weird references. I find, a lot of them get they maintain a constant overflow of them, I think.
Right.
And there's tropes that move through the drawings and move through. Then I'll find a new one. It'll ebb and flow, and it's all like. I study a lot of form. I study forms in hundreds of different applications. Like, I have like a lot of books recently on Russian folk art and Czechoslovakian dresses, but then I also just got a big book about Gordon Matta Clark's Graffiti Archive of New York. So I'm interested in. I think all visual culture is really, really interesting. And there's words. So I've been studying how the graffiti guys do words, and there's just this is an interesting pile. This is sort of a working pile, which a lot of these aren't very good, but they may be good. Like, this is one from 2012.
Wow.
I find that drawing is also a way to refuse time, like to compress experience. This is a drawing of my dog Sophie from like 2016. And this is a drawing, and I try, like, there's different subjects in the drawings that have a lot to do with more about my memory and my experience and how I like recollections. And there's a lot of text, and there's a lot of working in terms of small memories. This is only in the last couple of years. So I don't want this to be a sort of big declaration of what I do. Sure. This is what I'm sort of just explaining this present drawing. Like, this is all about two Brooklyn hip hop legends, Pop Smoke and Biggie Smalls, who both died very young. And so I don't know if it's going to work. It might work. So that's why I do a lot of drawings, and they sit around for a few months or years in boxes. A lot of these big paintings behind me have small drawings sort of routed into them.
Physically? You mean physically routed? Like, actually inserted?
I take a router, and I put a small channel in it, and put the drawing inside of it.
Okay, so let's explain. You're working on wood panel.
Working on wood panel. So what you do is you take a router, which is it cuts off the top layers. So like the drawings, they have like tropes from different things. I may reference a New Mexican Spanish Catholic retablo, or a shaker cabinet, or a blanket from the Southwest, or European folk art, or David Smith, or pre-Columbian art.
Are those tropes about straight up form, or are they about the associations that go along with them?
Oh, yes, both. I mean, I think that any discussion about it has to be purely form and content combined. There's certain things that have to do with that, or just an idea I have. Like, this is like a nonsense word that has roots in different things. But I just think it's all just incredible. I think that all good ideas get made by doing stuff like this, and pushing the forms. I believe that content comes out of form, comes out of some immediate impulse. Like, you may make something, and you won't discover what it is about for years.
Okay.
Or you may think about it and have sort of an explanation of what it may steep from. I find art that's declarative in its intention, like this is about this. I find it's more just boring in some ways. But like unless that is completely subsumed in form, and it comes to you again, and you feel the same thing.
I feel like the forms are ways to organize color, pattern, texture, not pattern, really. Like, for you, I feel like the lusciousness of the materials almost trumps the form.
In some ways, the contact is real. Like, if you take, like, this is, let me find a particularly good one in terms of, like this is a really beautiful old piece of, like, with the feels is amazing.
Chuck's obsessed with old paper, people.
I was really obsessed with old paper. Like, this is really cool. Good. Like, this is an old sheet here. If you see this corner, like, you can see that it says Curtis Rice and Company, 7-2 November 1895. This was made in Britain in 1895. So, and you see that, and you see some kind of human contact with it. Like, when I first drew on old paper, it was in old notebooks like this, like old weird sketchbooks, math books. Old ledgers or autograph books. Really, I just have to have these sitting here. Like, there's this. You can make a funny drawing from like this great stuff. Like, I love old script, and just the way that the work, just the pages, people with such care in the way that they talk to each other with such care. I like that idea of a book of friends. Like, that's what they used to call these things in the Renaissance, from the 12th century, something like that, to the 19th. They were called album amicorum, which means book of friends in Latin. And so the European intellectuals would carry around these books, and their friends would make drawings in them, and they would be given as gifts with prints bound in, and then their friends would like write down poetry. And I found that was in about 2004 or something, or maybe around there. I love that. I grew up around antiques and history and art, and so I love that idea about the content. Really, it was like, fundamentally, I think the content of most artwork is about freedom, is about the idea of being free to do this thing that you call art. I don't think that art needs political content or a deep kind of meaning to stand up for itself in terms of its own selfhood.
Well, that's the beauty of freedom, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And that's one thing. Like, I always made prints. Like, even in college, we were supposed to get obsessed with something, and I just got like in a printmaking class, the first printmaking class, and I made dozens of portraits, like of people's portraits, like us on zinc plates with scrape. I love the idea of scraping the plate and doing that, really, like that kind of that same transformation on the copper or zinc plate.
You're creating the image by scraping in, or are you etching in line,
So
or?
it's like back to sort of prints. I like that idea of the print as, it's a different sort of deal because you can make your drawing and then you can have one and draw on it and then work back to the plate. So I always find when I'm making having a good drawing session is you sort of move along all these forms and it gets weirder and weirder, and then it maybe pull back in on itself. So it's kind of this like wave of forms that you're riding. Like when you make a print over a long time, it's the same, but it's kind of like you have those things to work on initially. So a lot of energy, a lot of psychic energy is generated in that process. Like when I do a lot of print, like especially when I work at Wingate Studio with Peter Pettengill, I would make a lot of drawings or work on other plates while he's printing because there's a lot of energy generated by it, and to tap into that psychic energy is really amazing.
Do you feel like when you're in a really good session of drawing or carving on the plate or however you're doing it, you're not consciously sitting down to create a certain image? It's all flow, subconscious
Depends.
flow?
It depends. I mean, say if I've been sitting down to make a drawing, I've thought of in my head 30 things already. So
Huh.
there's no problem in finding something that I want to do.
Okay.
Like I've already got 200 ideas in my head when I sit down. So I'll just start by making marks, and that generates all the ideas.
Wow.
Whether it's going against something else, like I push that blue mark against it, or I'll have a thing that I wanted to write down. Like I do all these drawings with like lists. So lately there's been lists, and this is funny. Like I wrote down, or there's associations which come up. So this is like the words from Woodstock, and this is a frame, and Stanford White is a frame designer, and this is sort of like, and then like it's the freedom of using the materials. So I have no shortage of ideas, none. Like I'll do one thing and it'll turn into like one of the greatest quotes that in painting that I know is Guston's. Maybe it was Guston who said that painting, if you first draw a moon and it turns into a shoe, and you draw the shoe, it turns into a house, and you start drawing the house and it turns into a loaf of bread. So I'm interested in how that transformation happens, especially a lot in terms of scale, in terms of body scale, where you find a way to insert your body into the picture, whether it's it's something you sit down. It's like you enter into the picture and you pick up, like you pick this thing, or you can grab it, or it's something where you're very small and you're looking at a mountain. So that changes your relationship to the picture in terms of like the scale of it.
Chuck,
Yeah.
there are there are artists who sit down to draw a portrait of somebody for money, and then there are people for whom it's all consuming. And
It is all consuming for me.
I'm not sure I've ever had a chance to talk to an artist for whom it is all consuming like this. I'm fascinated.
Thanks. Yeah, it is like everything about like making art it's very consuming because it's the idea of making something a certain way, or having a kind of touch, or making a decision and then it comes to you. I mean, I would like, yeah, like it is. It's like the idea of having all these drawings is and just working on them. I can show you. There's flat file drawers full of these drawings.
I bet.
And this is an odd pile because this is all a pile of ones that I don't really like. And so it's good that like this is kind of like, this is a frame shape. My mother was a frame dealer, so I've been along a lot of picture frames.
That's interesting because I feel like a lot of the works that I've been looking at online since we decided to have this conversation, that there's often, it's often centered on an object, unclear what the object might be, but it's like there's always sort of a framing surround around everything, and I wanted to ask you about it.
Yeah, I mean that's an interesting question because sometimes what I would do is, like I did in the 90s, I painted like landscape paintings, and I worked in terms of like there being a landscape or a scenario, and then sometimes the things in the picture would go out to where the picture was its own protagonist. Like I was working in Rome at the American Academy in Rome, and was making these sort of scenario-based paintings of croquet mallets, like on pilgrimages, and these big Baroque scenes, really inspired by Rome. And I think in the 90s, I started painting croquet mallets riding around in boats because that came from a specific experience, and I liked the idea of a unit, a posse, a team, a gang riding around in a boat. But then somehow it goes on to where the picture itself is the protagonist in the scenario. Like the picture itself is in the world. And so I think my work changes between those sort of two things, to where the things are very, like, the things in the picture are the self, and that is what's there. Like, if you know Louise Bourgeois' work, she works very much like she's surviving via the picture, via the sculptures, via the exorcism of the work. There's a great quote by her which says, like, drawing doesn't have the power of exorcism like sculpture does for her, because you get involved in the process and the casting and the runoff and the whatever. You have to do all this stuff to get through it, and then the drawing is just a little help. That's what she says.
Oh,
it's a great quote. But it's like the idea of drawing as being a kind of exorcism, I think.
And you subscribe to that idea?
I think so. You always feel better after I've made a bunch of drawings.
Okay.
I don't want to stop.
This is a matter of survival for you.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I couldn't see myself not doing it.
Have you ever had a 9-to-5 job?
Not a steady, I've never had I've always worked freelance.
Yeah.
In terms of, I did art handling, I've done theater stuff, I do antique dealing now and again. I worked for 3 weeks at the Guggenheim. I've done stuff like that. I've worked at camps and stuff, and I've had teaching jobs. Yeah. Those are the most 9-to-5 jobs I've had.
Okay. I can't imagine you sitting behind a desk, frankly.
My teaching jobs are very active. It's like They're long art, never behind a desk. You put on a show.
Sure.
My father was a professor, and so he said one of the things you do is that you're an entertainer. Like you're doing a show. You're putting on a show, and so I'm pretty good at doing that. And I like to talk to the students. I think it's pretty natural. And these days, I think it's important for students to get a lot of information as to what they may do, because I think that they come out and they want to have a rap of what they're doing, and they want to know why they're doing all this stuff already. I'm more interested in art being a mystery and learning about things. Like when I was learning, we did tons and tons of drawing. We just made a lot of drawings and learned by discussing things along the way. And it wasn't as much as here's the work, give me a show.
It is different. I mean, it's a completely different approach to art education, really.
Yeah. Meaning what is different? Meaning that
you seem to be comfortable sitting in, not knowing and not having.
Yeah, not knowing is one of the greatest things about art. Not knowing is great. I mean, I don't think that someone like de Kooning went into his studio knowing he was completely, his most famous painting took 3 years to make. I think not knowing is very important. Even if you're making a print, or if you're making anything, it's much more interesting to me to have mysteries. I mean, one of the greatest printmakers, I think, is Hercules Sagers. I was going to talk to you about that because I saw that show as a revelation for me, because he did all this weird stuff. Like he'd make a ghost print, he'd print over another print, he'd reprint or do something, but it was like a means of making a kind of picture.
Yeah, I agree with you. I saw that show. It was a show at the Metropolitan, everybody, on Sagers, on early etching, and Nadine Orenstein did it. It was a revelation. Yeah.
Yeah, she's amazing. And I went there and I did actually a lot of drawings at that show.
Oh, nice.
I did a lot of pencil drawings and took them home and made ink drawings above them. And Janice bought one of them, which is great. I have some work in the Met. Actually, our prints from Leslie Miller, but Janice actually has my work in the prints and drawings room above her desk, which I think is amazing.
Janice Orsman?
Janice Orsman.
Okay, the famous.
He's the best.
I don't think I realized she had a desk in the department.
Yeah, I think she has a desk somewhere.
Yeah.
She said she put it in her office.
Okay, cool.
I mean, one of the great things during that show, there was a conversation, I think, between her and the painter Terry Winters, who is an incredible printmaker. And I think he has a similar way of working where he has a drawing system and information goes into that from the painting system. I think that our work is different, but I think that it's similar in that respect because there's a lot of work, a lot of ideas being generated by different kinds of things that go on.
It's like abstraction that kind of represents maybe something like you guys have an affinity there for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it fluctuates between abstraction and figuration. It has a lot to do with scale of mark. And there's a book in his Matthew Marks exhibition, Graphic Primitives, where the essay talks about the brain city. And that's an interesting concept because it talks about how there would be, in the 50s and 60s in New York, there was artists in their studios just doing work, and their brains were caught up between that and a sort of very, very huge concepts of life and death, and like Rothko or de Kooning, or they would, and then the brain city was the fact that when Rauschenberg, they started referring more to life, so they started expanding the mind to be part of the whole city. So you pick up your materials, from the garbage.
Okay.
And I relate that a lot to graffiti art and artists like Rammelsy who would just create an entire world. Like, you're familiar with that artist?
I'm not.
He's a New York graffiti artist.
Oh.
And he changed his name to Rammelsy and he's incredible. He made these huge, like, robotic sculptures from detritus he found on the street. He's incredible. He's absolutely amazing.
Someone for everyone to look up. Wow.
Oh, yeah. Rammellze.
Okay. Huh.
Anyway, so and Terry's work in that show was sort of these big grids of little blocks, and they sort of looked like maps, but it was like an expansion of scale. It looked like a brain, and also looked like a city map.
Sure.
I may be getting off the subject, but
no. He's a genius with micro macro.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I'm interested in that in terms of all the. And it's odd because I've done a lot of printmaking processes, and the one that's the weirdest one to me is stone lithography because it's so weirdly counterintuitive. You don't work through your thing; you sort of do the thing, and it's there, and then it's subject to a different kind of manipulation because of it's a chemical process. It's not physical.
Yeah.
Like everything else is physical.
Yes.
I've done that. I've done like stone and plate litho with Andrew Mockler at Jungle Press and Randy Hemminghouse at the Brodsky Center. And those have been very interesting to figure out how to do it and how to put things in the stone, because the stone is so heavy, and make that into, like, take that energy and put it back into the, like, you get your image from it. But if you do just a little to the stone with the tush or the crayon, then that's what you're going to get. Right. Yeah. But if you do a whole lot, you're not necessarily going to get a whole lot. Like if you do an intense amount of carving, like a Durer sort of woodblock deal, then you get more stuff. Like, I find it's weird when I work on an etching, I'll work on it, and then I'll do an initial hard ground etching, and then I'll be like, this is terrible, and I'll do it again and again and again and again, and I'll sort of lose the image, and then I'll get it back.
How many states are we talking?
I don't know. It depends. I haven't done one in a long time. I haven't really done a print since 2019. I did a couple in maybe 2023. I think I went with Ruth Lingen and Nina Dine up to the Center for Contemporary Printmaking, and we worked on a couple prints together, and that was amazing. I loved watching that. I loved watching the tamarind technique. It's amazing. Like, it's just beautiful. Like, the way they roll and stuff is really cool. But I haven't done I did a print for the Metropolitan Museum printing program. It's run by this woman named Laura Einstein.
Laura, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know how much they're doing it now, but it was great. Like, we did an etching, a woodcut, and a litho.
I'm sure she'll do more of them after they finish renovating the space, you know?
Oh yeah, because they're doing a whole thing. I hope so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they don't like really have that space open to people
Not at the moment.
upstairs from the store. I find it's
Yeah.
really frustrating. And I want to do all kinds of prints. I work with anybody really. I have people that I really want to work with, and
Like who?
Felix Harlan in New York, and
Sure.
and I'm actually making a print of some of these new drawings with Andrew and with Jungle Press in June. So that'll be exciting.
You did some watercolor monotypes with him recently, didn't you?
With Andrew? Yeah, we did those. Yes. And we're going to do many more of those.
They're beautiful.
Thanks. Yeah, we only made about 5. We made them for Kate, like they were for a show at Katie at Plant House. And those are great because that's what I've been doing lately is collaging my drawings because I don't know if I can't show you right now, but I cut up a lot of drawings and they all turn into other drawings. I'll cut up a piece of a drawing and put it into a collage with 6 other fragments. And I'll make like 10 mock-ups for a mock-up being an arrangement of a collage on a big piece of paper. And then go do the watercolor monotype and then print it. And then like do the watercolor and then we do the monotype. Yeah, I did those in 2022. You're right. Yeah, that was really, really cool. That's right. Those are the last things I did.
That's what I figured.
At Andrews.
Right.
Yeah, I have a really good working thing I do with both Andrew and with Peter. Like with Peter, it's all very amazing. You sit out in the lawn and make drawings. Like I spent a lot of time. The last time I made a print with Peter is drawing outside while he was printing. And you eat lunch outside, and the dog's there, and it's
beautiful
the
up there. Yeah,
yeah, it's so great.
Yeah,
and he's got the Chromalink press, and it's bananas. So I love it so much, and I love Peter and his whole family. They're the best.
The Pettingills are lovely, but both Peter and Andrew Mockler they're very much the same kind of let the artist be all they can be, basically.
That's really funny. With Andrew, he'll oh yeah, we'll try that. Whatever, let's do it. And then we may not we may not audition it at all. We have a bunch of prints that we work forever on the time. They're just ridiculous.
It's so interesting when I think back to the paintings and how many layers you might build up and scrape away and build up and scrape. And some of the paintings they're years and years and years before you're happy / satisfied.
Yeah.
And you're right about lithography. If you put too much on there, it's just mud, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But
I've learned about it. It's trial and error, really.
Sure. Yeah. But then in the other kinds of prints, the states are an asset. You can
exactly
build and build and build.
Yeah, I found that each process has its own kind of energy,
right?
That I want to tap into. I really think that there's a great quote. It's from the artist Bill Jensen that you have these materials, and your responsibility as an artist is to get as much energy out of them as you can. He told me how to make paint, so I make a lot of my own paint.
You do?
Oh, it's easy. Just like making bread.
Oh.
Yeah, you're just combining a powder with a binder. That's it. And so I'll do that a lot. And
what's the advantage of doing that?
You can do whatever you want. You can make the paint. Really, I'm not doing where I grind it with a muller, which you could do. Bill had this amazing thing where he sanded off. He cut off the end of a muller so he had a little like a sort of hamburger patty shaped thing of glass, and epoxied that to a sander, to a random orbital sander, so you could just do that. So you could have that
like a levigator.
Exactly, except it's made of glass and it's for
right.
doing.
Wow.
For doing, I've never done that. I've seen that process, Randy. I've seen Randy. I've never navigated. That seems really intense.
Yeah. But when you're making the paints, is part of it
stir it in a jar
to make it a different consistency,
yeah,
or is
you
it
can
color?
make them feel like ink, yet be really, really opaque, like oil paint. You can make them. You can make it like honey. It gives it a wild freedom. It's really great.
But couldn't you squeeze some out of a tube and do almost the same thing?
No, because like squeezing out a tube, you have this solid thing. Like I can make paint that feels like ink. It's the consistency of ink or watercolor, yet it's really, really opaque. You can also pack
Huh.
3 times as much pigment into paint as you can by making paint. And I collect old paint, like made by Old Holland or Winsor and Newton from the 50s until the 70s, and that stuff is better.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it's better because they're made in England,
Yeah.
smaller, better quality control. I also make my own brushes. If I have a shop, I'll make my own brushes sometimes I'll take old brushes, cut the handles off, and I'll make them on the lathe, like make a long handled brush. I did that a year and a half ago at Penland School of Crafts. So I was taking. I'll show them to you. They're really amusing.
Oh my gosh. Wait, so the making your own brushes is in order to do what?
Oh well, you can. Okay, I'll just hold on one second. I just wanted to make it longer and reduce the idea of painting a brush. So I wanted to make a sort of feel like a giant. So I made these brushes.
Holy cow.
Yeah, this is. I mean, it's pretty easy to do. It's just like I took a brush and.
It's like 2 feet wide.
Yeah, it's 2 brushes. It's 15 inches wide.
Wow.
And it's 2 brushes that are epoxy to this thing of locust wood, which is very stiff, and then this is walnut, and this is like the handle is maple. It's a little heavy,
Yeah.
but it's a great thing because you could make a really huge mark. Like I wanted to make a big painting, like you make a tiny drawing. Like this is another one, which is sort of a basic paintbrush.
You're going to have to take pictures of all of these things.
Okay,
Sorry
yeah,
to say.
but yeah, that was really fun. I like to explore the possibilities of different kinds of touch with the brush.
With the one that's 15 inches wide, that's not just to lay the white gesso down.
No, not at all.
Okay.
No,
It's to do all the mark. You're Franz Klein, is what you're saying.
Yeah, to make big marks. I actually pour the gesso is very what's the word? I make it. It's really really thick. It's like a 1/4 inch thick sometimes, and it's made of this stuff called absorbent ground. So I actually pour it on.
Oh, okay.
And let it set overnight, and it turns into a surface which is infinitely very very neutral. Like in the painting, you can see that surface is kind of really flat.
Yeah.
And it's very very neutral. It's very tough, and you can draw on it. It's also absorbent, so it's a great. I have some other mixes in there which I make, and so I found that to be. I worked with this sort of surface for 30 years.
When you say absorbent, what do you mean? It absorbs
It acts
light?
like paper.
Oh, really?
It's a standard product that Golden makes called absorbent ground.
Huh.
It works.
Sorry,
on
I'm not a painting.
you can't use it on canvas because it doesn't.
Oh,
it cracks. But
okay.
on a flat surface, on a stiff surface, it works really well for what I want to do.
And then you can sand down into it.
You can sand down and scrape down into it. I mean, there may be better light if I used lead white.
Wait, you don't want to do that, do you?
Lead white's amazing.
Oh no, it's bad
It's the
for you,
best.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's dangerous, but you just be careful.
Okay.
Like if you look at Alex Katz's paintings, they have a lot of light in them, but a lot of that comes from he's got 2 or 3 coats of lead white underneath the paint.
Oh.
And Bill Jensen does the same thing.
Okay.
Like Bill uses he'll use an oil ground, and it'll take months to dry.
Wow.
An oil ground on canvas takes a long time to dry. That's how you get that light. But in any case, I like to. This is sort of a nice neutral, and it's really tough. Like you can sort of hit it; it's not going to bother it.
Banging on a painting, no worries.
That's fine. I like a stiff surface because I'll use a knife a lot.
Oh, okay.
Bill actually suggested these amazing sort of Italian stainless steel painting knives that are just amazing, and so I've used those ever since.
Huh.
I just love the proper thing.
You know how with print people, they're pretty generous and they share, oh, I've been using this, that, and the other thing. Like, is there kind of a central tips and tricks for painters? Like these are the best knives ever, or
Yeah, people trade that stuff all the time.
yeah,
Totally. I mean, some people don't care about that. Like
right.
some people don't use. Like I know Tom Niskowski. He used pretty like this like really cheapo brushes, and he would toss them all every couple of years. Bill, for example, is one guy I trade paper with sometimes because he has this specific stuff that he likes to use for his ink drawings because it you can leave it outside for 5 days and it's going to be fine.
Wow.
It's what like James Watman ledger paper made in the 30s to 60s has it's really full. It's full of sizing and animal sizing, and so it's really tough, but it's really transparent. It's very thin. It's amazing paper.
Huh.
Yeah, people talk about that stuff all the time. Yeah, artists love to shop. Like,
Right.
you love to buy things. I mean, I get most of my art supplies on eBay because it's far cheaper by 90% across the board.
Whoa. Tips and tricks, people.
The tips and tricks. Oh yeah, that's a big tips and tricks for me. Like some people don't have the mentality they want to go buy the thing, but the things that you get on eBay are much better. It's the same thing, or it's cheaper, or and a lot of say like vintage paint, like Winsor and Newton paint made in the 70s. You can find it by a certain label, or Old Holland paint made in the 40s and 50s and 60s is incredible. Like I got these tubes of Old Holland. They must have been from the 50s because it was the Mars Black was with a typewriter.
Oh my God.
Font, like not a printed font.
Printed. Oh gosh.
That minutia stuff is so fascinating to me. Like so some people don't care about that, you know.
Oh no, it tells you a lot, doesn't it? But there are actual stores not stores like you go into a shop, but like storage facilities that are full of old paint like that?
People like inherit stuff from their teacher but there's, like, it's just a matter of knowing what you want and having the patience to like get on the program and look for it.
And is that, we should segue into the paper thing because we had a good convo about it at the Brooklyn Print Fair.
Oh yeah.
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 Where are you sourcing all that?
I get a lot of it. Well, initially I did get it. I get some from eBay. Like the paper, if you type in handwritten, that's a really good thing. So you can find an album and a quorum, and then you can kind of look at the paper and like you can look at the snap, or if it has a watermark, or if it's a laid paper, it's generally older. But then I found a guy, I don't know if we talked about him, named William McCracken on eBay. I just started buying paper from him directly. He lives in Scotland in the upper islands of Orkney, and he has a place called Vintage Paper Co. And it's like a vintage paper company. And so he would sell me, like this is like 10 years ago, like 10, 12 years ago, sell me piles of old Watman. If you type in Watman paper on eBay now, all you're going to get is Watman filter paper, because Watman and Barkham Green both transitioned into making paper for scientific applications, filter paper for, I don't know, for experiments and stuff. And so then I think, you just like from searching around, I found a weird, crazy art dealer in New York named Donald Heald, who specialized in like Audubon papers and stuff. And he had a bunch of paper, like beautiful pink paper from Jay Green, amazing paper. And I bought that from him for $8 a sheet. But then I started getting, I think in 2015, I ran in and got in touch with a man named Simon Green, who's the 8th or 9th generation of that family, Barkham Green, who started making paper in the 18th century in England. And so I just started buying stuff from him, and he had just basically like, there would be 8 sheets of this, 20 sheets of this, 5 sheets of this. And it was all leftover packets of stuff from Barkham Green. And I've been doing that ever since.
When you go to make prints with, say, Wingate or Jungle or something, do you ever bring a little stack of the
Yeah, I'm gonna do it this time with Andrew
Okay.
because it's hard because you don't get consistency.
Right.
Like when I made a whole series of prints with Leslie Miller. They were pochoir and silkscreen and woodcut, and those which Brad Ewing printed. It can't. And then we used all these different stacks of old vintage paper. We used Crown and Scepter and Jay Green and old Saunders paper and old Watman to make 5 different prints. And those it prints amazingly. It's beautiful. I used to get this old Watman paper from Leslie that had proofs on it from other artists that she just didn't want. So I would sand it and use alcohol on it, denatured alcohol, which is fine for paper, by the way, and just like renew the sheets.
Oh,
That was a
wow.
lot of fun.
So, but who was I talking to recently about editions and the idea that is it an edition
Yeah.
in the traditional sense if the paper is varying,
Yeah, exactly.
you
Like
know?
I know I'm going to make all these watercolor monotypes with Andrew, so I'm going to bring a bunch of paper.
That makes sense. They're unique, right?
And it's funny because the stuff I even have now that I got from Simon in the last batch, I mean, it was split with a bunch of people. So I got like a 3-foot crate of paper. And I have actually another like 3-foot stack of it in England now that belongs to me that I have to get over to New York. That's beautiful. It's bigger sizes of paper. And so, no, I just love it. I love being totally unprecious with it and have racks on racks on racks of it. But luckily now I get it from Simon, and I don't care about the condition of it, or it generally has stuff written in the sides of it, like that one piece. And my partner runs the shop at Dudonné Paper Mill, so I've made paper there. I've done a lot of projects with them. I know like Paul Wong, who worked there. I got a lot of paper from him when he moved, and so I've known as a guy who has a lot of paper. I like paper.
People know it.
And it's funny because I know I've gotten some that I'm never going to get again. Like I'm never going to get, probably maybe not. Like I'm never going to get Jay Green, what is it, pasteless boards, which is this incredible thick paper that, and I know that like Dudonné will try to make paper for Ron Gorchov, and he wanted this curve to the paper, and I don't know if that didn't work. But there's a certain thing in the certain feeling that you get from these old papers that can't be done.
Why? Do you think it's the age on the paper, or is it really the materials or the lack of chemicals in the water,
All
or is
the
it?
rags, the water. Like this is a piece of paper that Paul Wong made. It's really thick. It's this beautiful baby blue color. I mean, one could probably do this again.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be a lot of work because you'd have to, I could do this if I had an assistant at Dudonné, I could make paper like this. But you're not going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And then this is amazing. This is old Jay Green paper from, I'm not sure exactly when. April 1930.
Look at that.
Look at that. And it's called Crisbrook, but it has this wonderful yellow color to it. And I think it's a privilege and an honor to work on this stuff. I think I really want to honor the people that made this and that type of craftsmanship. I think it's a transfer of energy. I think it has to do a lot with the idea of like egalitarian labor and the idea of making a thing, like the idea of craftsmanship. I love craftsmen. I love people who make things, and that idea of that transformation. I think that like going to Penland School of Crafts, like my partner Amy was teaching there, and she runs the Dudonné paper place there, so she taught a class in paper making. I got to go take a wood class, so that's when I made these brushes. And so I just like that idea of these. I think of these kind of sacred objects. Like, there's this wonderful pattern on here. I think it's incredible. And the feeling of this paper, that has this incredible weird snap to it. This is T.H. Saunders' banknote paper that I got from Lou. I just love the way it feels. Like this is this is incredibly strong paper.
Right.
It's so really thin, and like these are actually like factory samples that they've been sitting around in Simon's warehouse for 42, 81 year, 80 years almost. And I think that's just so rad.
I love paper, obviously, as a print person, but I feel like there are a few people who have the opportunity to even touch and feel that kind
Yeah.
of old paper, and probably more people would be sucked in if they had the chance, you know?
Yeah, I think it's true.
Yeah.
Like I've made it like funnily like a priority to have this kind
Right.
of paper.
I mean, and I've touched stuff like that only because I was the cataloger in the print room, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where did you do that?
Oh gosh, I was the cataloger at the National Gallery of Art and at the
Whoa.
Baltimore, and the
Rad.
Baltimore Museum of Art.
Okay.
Yeah. Paper is very cool, and I think it's so overlooked by people, you
Oh
know?
yeah, I think it is. It's like there's a lot of people who work like people who work at Dudonné and sort of get it that it is a kind of material that you can work with
Right.
instead of being only ever a substrate.
Right, right, right.
Like I know that there's a great quote. Richard Tuttle worked a lot at Dudonné, and he had this sort of the odd energy that he brought to the paper. But in the movie Herb and Dorothy, about Herb and Dorothy Vogel, I don't know if you've ever met them at the National Gallery.
I did.
That's awesome, you did?
Yes.
But it's incredible because they talk about, there's this one part where he's looking at something and he's like, oh, it's actually upside down. It was like a John Chamberlain piece or something. But Richard Tuttle, like he says that Herb has an aesthetic eye.
Ah.
So that the thing that you're looking at goes straight from your eye into your heart, skips your brain.
Oh.
So it's the idea of that when you take in something, it goes straight into your psyche without stopping for like a evaluative, rational thought.
That describes you perfectly.
Oh yeah. So I love that kind of description of Herb Vogel. Like he must have been amazing to just talk to him.
Well, I mean, they were in the midst of their gifts at that point,
Yeah.
and they were getting up there, and they were tiny. I don't know if you ever
Yes,
saw
yes.
them.
That movie talks about that whole process.
Tiny. Yeah. I mean, I shook their hand and I didn't sit down for coffee or anything with them,
Right.
but they, they had the tiny little apartment. I mean, you see it in the movie,
It's
and
incredible.
it is incredible. But it did give one of our registrars a nervous breakdown.
Oh, of course. Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, there was a thing like he has that, and then there's like 8 trucks of stuff, and there's still more, and then they just go out and buy more stuff.
Right.
But then that kind of accumulative, like the movie The Collector talks about Alan Stone and how he would just be like, "Oh, this is fucking awesome," and the article about William Arnett, how would he, collected all that stuff and what it did to him. I love all the Arnett. All that stuff. I'm a really big Souls Grown Deep guy. Like I know Lonnie Hawley and Matt Arnett, and I think that stuff is one of the highest art you can see. Is Thornton Dial, but that stuff really goes straight into my heart.
I agree with
I'm not sure
you.
what we're talking about, but the paper is like it feels like it has a kind of energy. Like this is so weird. Like if this one says 100 group XXX. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is funny. This is like a pile of blanks.
Just waiting for Chuck Webster
Just waiting
drawings.
for stuff. Like this is, I know that this is old Watman. It's got that. I mean, it's like someone who likes cars. I like paper.
You seem like you have many areas that you are deeply interested
Yeah,
and investigative
I'm
in.
interested in all kinds of paint. And I love learning about things. I love learning about the origins of materials and how physical things change history and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're a curious person.
I think that's an important, good way to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think curiosity is one of the things is missing in art. There's too much in art these days. There's too much declarative, like this is about this. Like if you do something that's about something specific and then you go back and look at it 30 more times, it's Like, say Goya's The Forge, which is a painting at the Frick. Like, I know what the painting's about. It's a bunch of guys making something on a forge, but it's so mysterious. The painting is such a whirling mass of form, and you don't get that feeling anything else but going into the Frick and looking at it.
Right.
The subject may be simple, but then that whirling form is more interesting. I'm interested in kind of getting that engagement to a longer engagement. Think about the level of it. It's more quotes from Guston because he's very good. Like the level of involvement that Montaigne had over a year with his paintings, and like you want to do that. You want to maintain that level of engagement and that level of involvement with what you're doing, and make it go for a really long time.
When you pause on a painting and you think that isn't working, do you let it sit so that it might turn out to be working?
Yeah, I turn it around a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this red painting here, I don't know if it's any good. I think so, but I'm curious. I'll evaluate whether I want to do something or not to it. Like, I'll sit at and look at it, and I'll be like, oh, should I put more little drawings in it? Should I do some more stuff? Like, there's a lot like that. There's a little triangle there in the middle.
Yeah.
That sort of is the fulcrum of the painting, and I may paint that a different color, but I've been debating for a couple days over which color to do it. And then there's one next to it, I can just take you over to see, is that there's... So this painting, these are all little drawings that have been kind of routed in.
Okay.
Those are all little tiny drawings. And then this area is all little pieces of paper that are just like this sort of tessellated marquetry here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, I just have to do it. It's a pain in the ass. I just have to fill this all in.
Right.
The white's going to get filled in.
Yeah.
Like, and here's, I'll just take you a little tour. Like, this is the studio, and these are the paints I make. Like this is a jar of paint, and it's all gross and goofy. It sort of feels like honey, kind of. I'll like pull these out like this. It's sort of like this gross.
Oh, yeah.
But it works fine.
Oh, sure.
And I'll take you over to the paper area. Oh, this is good because there's sun here, so I could show you maybe you could see some watermarks.
It's the sound of the flat file.
The sound of the flat file.
Yeah. Unmistakable.
Here. But
wait, are all those blank sheets?
Oh yeah, this is all.
Oh my gosh.
This is.
If somebody got in touch with you and said, "Can I buy a sheet or two
of
what?"
Generally not. I'd give it away.
Oh, okay.
To people, I give like Steve Benedetto. I give him paper sometimes just because I love what he does.
I love his work.
I would never. I don't sell paper. Like, actually, you can see this cool if it's through the. This is kind of useful because there's this beautiful paper. That's Jay Green. It's got great watermarks.
Oh, look at that!
It's beautiful.
Yeah. I do love a watermark.
Yeah, there's nothing there. It says handmade, I think, in the middle. Yo, FJ Head. But this feels like wonderful.
Yeah.
And then there's like this is actually more paper that's production paper from Jay Green. So it's got different associations. Like, I get a lot of like seconds. Like, this is a second because it's got a bunch of like ripples in it, which is
right.
Fun. There's all kinds of it's great stuff. Like, yeah, these are all blanks. This is like a entire.
Oh my gosh!
There you go. There you go. That's what you can see. This is all blank sheets of paper.
Whoa.
Like, this is all packets. This is all drawings in here. There's a lot of them, and I just love them. It's funny. I organize them really, really well, and specifically a lot. But then I kind of I messed them up again to keep the sort of looseness. I wanted to keep it sort of loose. Oh, this is a wonderful piece of paper, which I've drawn on, but I'll go back. This is called double medium square, and so it's made for a really big book.
Right.
And so you see how long it is.
Yeah.
And it's got a wonderful Watman. You can't see it. I don't think you can see it. Yeah, Watman.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
53.
Yeah.
And like those, I love the use of it because it would fold it in half. It would make the book.
Right.
It would make a book this big.
Yeah, big.
I don't think I'm going to find another sheet of this ever. Like it's like a $40 sheet of paper.
Oof.
Or it can't be bought because it's not made anymore.
Right. Priceless.
So I just want to emphasize that it's all about the artwork, making the artwork. I think the cumulative, like you can get caught up in this idea, oh, he's got a lot of paper. Whoa, that's amazing. But it's all about making the art.
Sure.
It's all about that.
Yeah, of course.
Of course. Like this is great. This is like my dining out story is the Inner Services Research Bureau.
Huh.
And this was made in the 40s in England when they were fighting fascism, and they made that paper for the MI6 in order to counterfeit occupation marks.
Oh.
Where where the Germans were creating whole societies and like trying to to destroy a society. They would destroy the money and they would take their own money. A lot of that paper was made for the British government. I just love that idea of history and that kind of that's an important piece of paper.
But the age in the paper, you're using it for its tactile qualities. You're not infusing the work that you will produce with it with that history.
No, just in terms of honoring it.
Okay.
I find it, to be able to make something that lives up to that standard of humanity is a pretty amazing thing.
Right.
And you're bringing out the paper, you're letting it live again or something.
Got it.
Yeah, it's incredible. That's sort of one of my great memories is Simon telling me about this. And he's like, yes, my grandfather, he would, they'd take it and they would defeat fascism with it. And I think that's incredible.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it's just a great thing.
Cool.
Like you have to forget about the preciousness of it in order to make something good.
Yeah, that tough call when you only have one sheet left.
Yeah, sorry. So you sometimes I'll save a certain number of this gray colored paper and then I'll just say, okay, this is it, and I use it, like all of it.
Okay.
Like in a couple days.
Wow.
But I'll do that when I head to Andrew's, and I think it'll be like I have a really good time with Andrew. I know what I'm going to do, so I can pick. But I'll pick it within that parameter. It's got to be good for. We'll test out a bunch of papers to see what's good.
Okay.
It's dumb to it's got to be useful for the process. It's got to be able to absorb the watercolor and then it would get printed on.
Okay.
I'm not sure what is the exact what do you want in a paper for a watercolor monotype, but I know I printed Andrew I had this old print that I made in 1993 or something, and Andrew was like, oh, can we print on that? And I really wanted to edition it. Andrew just wanted to make one. We made it on a sheet of old J green paper, and it looks incredible. There's some old Crown and Scepter, really old paper that prints just beautifully. It prints like it's on newsprint. Newsprint prints amazingly. It's beautiful the way it feels, the way you have that. But it has the consistency of newsprint. It's very light, but it's strong as hell. It's archival. It's incredible.
Wow. So before we wrap up, I did want to ask you a little bit about this antiques dealing thing that you're doing.
Oh, it's just I like the objects, and it's just a thing that I'll do to make a little extra money.
When we had our conversation at the Brooklyn Print Fair, we were talking about the Atelier 17 connection.
Oh yeah, I just had some of that stuff, and I like learning about it. But if it was something else, I would have learned about something else. Like
okay.
My friend who I work with, who I just get with the stuff. Sometimes he has a lot of Hayter prints, and I love looking at Stanley William Hayter, and I love that. One cool thing about that is that you get to learn about the thing you're dealing with, like selling.
True.
You get to learn about it. I didn't know much about Hayter before I knew that he was I didn't know about his paintings. I didn't know that place had that much reach.
Yeah.
So it's cool to learn about it. I like to read books about, right now I'm reading a book about Chernobyl and how that disaster happened. And that it's really fascinating, that kind of all the small things that happen to make that a big collective event happen.
Right.
And so I like sort of the de Kooning biography, for example, by Annalyn Swan and Mark Stevens, how he made the was able to create a kind of world, and how he grew up in a workshop, and that's kind of how he had refuge from his family, is that he worked in a set shop.
Huh.
And so
Not know that.
his studio you see now and the way he works, it kind of holds the same stuff. So yeah, I mean, that's like and I like the resonance of antiques. I love being around antiques. I love like how they, it's the old, again, I like my work. I like it to feel like an old tool that your grandfather had in his garage, but you don't know what it's for.
Right.
I love that mysterious, like Indiana Jones type of approach to finding. Like, it's fascinating with this thing. But and I like selling the antiques because it's like you get money. But like I am interested in it. I'm interested in making, and how that, like, making antiques is really cool.
Okay.
So it's only affectation. I wouldn't do it if I didn't have to do it in order to make ends meet.
Right. Supplement the old income.
Yeah, supplement the art income.
Right.
But I love antiques. I think they're just the best.
Okay, cool.
I collect a lot. I used to collect croquet mallets, and I'd use them, make sculptures out of them. I like to collect like other people's art and old weird folk art. So I think that those things have a real resonance to them.
Sure. But you're not set up with a eBay shop, or like, how are you marketing?
I just sell things on eBay. I don't
on eBay,
have
okay.
No, I don't like. I toy with the idea of like opening a bookstore or stuff like that, but I'm too involved in my work, but eBay sort of makes it kind of easy to do. But it's fun.
Okay.
I like it's usually all the stuff that I've sold in the last couple of years. I wouldn't have done it if I hadn't been hired by my friend to help him clean out his house, and he's like, oh yeah, you can just take some stuff and you can sell it, and sometimes you'll give me the money, or you can just take all this. So I just sort of fell into it. But I'd known this guy for years and years and years, and Don, who you knew from Baltimore.
Yes, right. Don.
And so I knew what to expect. I knew that he has the best stuff, and he's very generous. And so
yeah,
it's an honor for me to do it. It's really fun.
Good.
But I just, I like the idea of all this stuff helping me to understand more about art and like feed that beast.
Yeah, no, it's always good to know what came before, right?
Oh, always.
Yeah.
I think that there's always really newly discovered artists and newly discovered things that I'm finding.
Sure.
In the world.
Well, thank you for talking to me today on Platemark. I so appreciate your time.
Yeah, it's really, really been fun. I always love the opportunity to talk, because I'll work out a lot of things while I'm talking. That, like, I'll work, sometimes when I'm doing lectures or something, or doing a slide talk, I'll always work out something in the work I've never thought of before.
Sure.
It's kind of just like working stuff out in therapy. You talk, and then a new idea will appear.
Yeah, no, I agree. Cool. All right, we've been talking for over an hour, so we'll wrap up.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Hey everybody, thanks for listening to this episode of Platemark with artist Chuck Webster. I need to thank Chuck for coming on the pod. It was a lovely conversation. I really enjoyed it, and I really so appreciate you doing it. Thanks, Chuck. Also, thank yous as usual to my team, Dan Fury of Extension Audio for being my sound guy. Thanks, Dan. And Michael Diamond for being the director of music, for allowing the use of his original music on the pod. Also, a thank you to Skip Barnhart and Lee Turner, who sent sounds from their studios that make up the intro and outro of each episode. Thanks, guys. As I said at the top, images we talk about are over in the show notes at platemarkpodcast.com. Over there you can do all sorts of things, the most important of which is to hit support and donate. And help me keep the lights on. It's just me. All right. We'll see you next time.